Just kidding. That wasn't whiskey.
It is 10
What's up,
a.m.
everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bobby and Corn Don't Know.
We back.
This is a special episode because we're recording in the morning, and Corn said we're not allowed to drink whiskey at 10 a.m. So
People
we're
might
keeping
think
it sober
differently
in
of
this
us.
one. Sorry, guys. But anyways, we got an awesome guest for you today. We do have a couple housekeeping things beforehand. First off, again, thank you guys, everybody that's been listening. It's been way more than we expected, so that's going really well. So thank you guys for that. Continue if you can. If you guys are getting something from these, pulling some type of value, we really appreciate the referrals out there, kind of just spreading our name out. Obviously, the more people that listen, the more people we feel like we're helping and have an impact on. So keep that going. Thank you guys for that. Second, we did start an Instagram page. So make sure you guys make your way over to that Instagram page and give us a follow. That's where we'll be. I mean, we put on our own personal pages too, but that's where we're kind of letting everybody know when new episodes drop, and kind of all the things we're doing that involves this project. So without further ado, I'm sitting here with my co-host, as always, Mr. Cornelius Edison. Corn, how are you, man?
Cornelius Edison. I'm doing great, man. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I do wish we were sipping on some whiskey, but I'll make do. Guys, we have a very special guest today, Super Bowl champ.
In the building.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. I don't know how much into football we'll go. I feel like we've been giving you guys a really healthy dose of football, so maybe we'll just see where it goes. But Corn's got a few more things on this guy's resume that we might want to mention.
Yeah, so first off, thanks, Josh, for coming on. We got Josh Andrews here with us today.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome, Josh.
Josh is a Oregon State alumni, California native, entered the NFL as an undrafted free agent, so we kind of, connected.
Same page, like
Yeah,
that.
connected right off the bat. We probably met a couple years ago through mutual friends. And
No, we met in Vegas that one time.
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how you
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Vegas
Matter of
will
fact,
bring a couple people together,
Bobby
man.
was there for that.
Oh, was this the same Vegas trip?
Yeah.
It's my 21st birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
funny.
It
Oh,
all
man.
comes back
Small
full
world.
circle.
Small world.
Here we are
man.
back in Oregon, connecting on the podcast.
Damn.
But we appreciate your time, man. It's Josh's bye week.
Yeah. Thanks for taking
On
time,
the,
time out of your bye week. Bye week.
Currently playing for the Colts. Like we said, Super Bowl champion. Won with the Eagles a couple years back. Yeah, man. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to show you this ring, too.
Oh man, I can't believe we didn't do this in the first place.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Bobby's getting
he's
all
got
excited.
The Super Bowl ring. The box has built-in lights.
Built-in light.
That's crazy.
Okay.
We got to get a picture of that.
Dude, that is
Pass that around to you.
huge. Guys, we'll post a picture of this on the another reason to go follow the Instagram.
Only on the Instagram page we'll post this picture.
Wow. I mean, that's almost inconvenient to wear.
Yeah.
Like, you
it's-
can't.
yeah. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, you don't, like, wake up in the morning, throw your watch on, and throw your Super Bowl ring on. Damn, dude. That is awesome. Congratulations.
For sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Man, you have reached the pinnacle.
I'm a little salty, though, because you guys did beat us in the NFC Championship game before that game.
Hey, hold up, bro. You still owe me for that game, too, buddy.
See, I wanted to bring it up because I was like, oh, no, you kind of playing still. So,
Oh man, that's right. That was the same season we were talking about the Minnesota Miracle.
yeah, man.
We didn't really get into what happened
The
week
previous
after
week.
that.
That bet's void.
Yeah.
It's too long.
Jeez Louise. Well, besides the Super Bowl ring, my first question is, you've got that beautiful scar on your hand.
Oh, man.
It looks like it goes from like your so it's like wrist to literally the end of your hand. What happened there?
This literally happened like the camp of the year we won the Super Bowl. So like
Okay.
first day wearing pads. I don't know what just happened. I was blocking one of the D tackles and he went to redirect and my hand was still stuck in his jersey and my finger just completely like snapped.
Oh, so it was a finger injury
Yeah.
that they had to go.
Exactly. So like my finger just completely was like sideways and I'm like, oh, seen the X-rays. It looked like a twig.
Just snapped.
Just snapped.
That's exactly how it looked. Now I was like, oh.
You said that was the first day of pads?
First day of pads.
So this is
Okay.
day 4 of camp?
Day 4 camp.
Wow.
So
That's
you,
early in the year to be in
I was gonna say
breaking
you're
fingers.
training year round, and then like it's like okay, finally go time. And so how long were you sidelined for with that?
Man, it was a 4-week, like a month injury. So like I was happy about that, but at the same time, like man, like all these other guys are playing. You know how the NFL works. You know, like
You never know. It's your time to be up.
exactly. You know what I mean? So I was rehabbing, trying to get my hand back right. The crazy thing is, I ended up playing the last preseason game.
So literally a month later, probably.
Yeah, like a month later, I was playing the last preseason game, playing center too. At that, with the hand that I broke, snapping with this hand.
Jeez.
So you had to grip a ball every single time,
Yeah,
fresh off
yeah.
of surgery.
Fresh off of surgery. I only played like 20 snaps, but I for sure thought my career was done at that point. You know what I mean? And then I after that game, I was talking to my O-line coach and the GM. They were like saying, "You still have another year of practice squad eligibility." And I was like, "How?" Because at this point, this is my fourth year.
Okay.
Wow.
NFL.
Okay. I was gonna stop you there so we can go back. So talk just briefly from, like you said, undrafted free agent. So have you had a bit of like a journeyman's career?
Nah, not really. I've been with the Eagles most of my career.
Okay.
My first 4 years with the Eagles.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So I wasn't really a journeyman.
Nice.
But I was either like deep on the roster or on the practice squad. You know what I mean? And I take my hat off to the Eagles because like they really care about their players. You know what I mean? If they see a guy developing and wanting to be there and being a good part of the team, they'll keep you around. You know what I mean? And it's not like that's not the case with a lot of teams.
That's not common.
Facts.
Not at all. Not at all. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
one thing I want to touch on is what you're saying is extremely rare to be undrafted free agent staying with the same team for 4 years.
Right.
There's guys on contracts who are drafted who can't last a year.
Exactly.
So just talk about just your mentality of coming there with grit, just your mindset to overcome, the labels of undrafted, deep on the roster, practice squad.
Man, like the way I looked at it, like this, like the guys that are drafted, they're gonna get first dibs. You know what I mean? And as an undrafted player, you have to stand out like any way you can to stick around. You know what I mean? And I feel like I've done that, and not even that alone. Just being a great teammate. You know what I mean? Being a person that they want to be around the building. You know what I mean? That has good vibes. You know what I mean? And feeds off to other people. I feel like that's what kept me around. Why I'm still in the league right now. You know what I mean?
And this is year what for you?
This is my 6th year in the league.
6th year. Undrafted free agent.
Undrafted, you know what I mean? And the thing is, I really haven't played a whole lot as far as like snaps goes. But I feel like the thing that has kept me around is just getting the defense better, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Doing things, the little things to help the team out, help the locker room out, bring a culture to that environment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really why I've been around the league so long.
I think that what you said right there, you said you didn't have any snaps, but you're consistently making the people around you better. I think that people, for whatever reason, don't think that applies to work, to your family, to every relationship you have in life. Where, why are we not looking at these? I mean, obviously we do look at NFL players. People look up to them all the time. But why are we not taking their example of, why is this person
Still
been
here.
able, there, still doing what they're doing this long into it? And when you break it down, I mean, how many guys that are better athletes than you guys are sitting on the couch on Sundays?
Right.
A ton, right? Like there's a ton out there, but it goes beyond that.
The intangible things, you know what I mean? Like things off the field feel like go a long way too, And I was in Minnesota with Corn and Mike, and that was a rough going for me.
So Josh and I had the chance to play together 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago now.
Yeah, training camp and springtime.
Yep.
So I was really excited because, a guy that I know off the field, coming to the team where I'm at, along with another guy we train with, Mike Rimmers, and just having that I feel like it's rare to have that kind of brotherhood with people.
Absolutely.
Because you see them, during the off season, work it out together, go grab a beer, top golf, do whatever. But like to grind with those people, it makes it even more special. So I was excited. I know Juice we call him Juice. That's his nickname, by the way.
Yeah.
But he got hurt. What, third preseason game? Second
preseason
yeah.
game. Damn. Second one, man. That was rough for me. I had a high ankle sprain, and they're saying like basically having a high ankle sprain is worse than breaking your ankle almost, just because it takes so long for that ligament to heal.
It's a nagging.
Exactly.
It's a nagging thing where you can't put a pin in it, like
Exactly.
you did kind of with your hand. So 6 years in the league, which is double the average NFL career.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, what's the mindset moving forward? Let's talk, instead of talking too much past, let's talk 5-10 year vision.
Man, 5-10 year vision. Man, 3 years max. You know, I do not want to be playing when I'm 30. You
Yeah.
know? you see those guys
Interesting.
still
Okay.
playing when they're 30, and I feel like it. Yeah, I love football. You know what I mean? Like we've been playing this since
A child's game.
a child. You know what I mean? But at a certain point, you start to realize it's a business. You know what I mean? And you see all these things coming out with CTE and injuries and stuff, and you're like, I want to be
Functioning when I'm
with
20 years now.
especially now that I have a daughter. You know what I mean? I feel like now that I have a daughter, I want to be around for her. You know what I mean? I
Yep.
want to be a vegetable when
Right.
she's growing up.
Right.
And so I want to make the most of this, but at the same time, like, it's not going to last forever. And I'm coming to the realization more and more, you know? So,
Right. I mean,
So I feel
that's
like-
9 years in the league, man.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, that's
exactly.
That's insane.
Do you think, because your daughter Jade is how old?
5 months now, a little
Wow.
over 5 months, you know what I mean?
That's flown by. I
Just
mean,
growing every day. It's
Yeah.
amazing, man. It's amazing.
do you think, having her in your life has kind of sped up that process of the realization, or like how has having a daughter changed you in that aspect?
It just, you realize that you have somebody else depending on you now. You know what I mean? And yeah, you have a wife,
Mhm.
so you know, like, yeah, she's depending on you, but this is your blood. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Your actual. She came from you and your wife, and you like look at her and like, she's depending on me, and you see that every day when you look into her eyes, and I feel like that has been a big thing for me, just because like it's a love like no other, and you think about everything else outside of what's going on with her, like,
Mm-hmm.
man, do I want to keep playing football? Like, you see people get hurt, like, I want to be there for my daughter, and
Yeah.
like, it changes your mindset, but at the same time, it makes you grind harder, just
Yeah.
because like you know
Motivation.
that she's depending on you, you know,
Mhm.
and it's that fine balance between those things, you know. And but as far as like being done with this, I want to get the most out of it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
2 years, 3 years, however long till they kick me out that building.
Yeah.
So the key card doesn't work.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, and I thought about what I wanted to do after. You know what I mean? I have a degree from Oregon State in sociology and criminal justice, and I want to further my education. You know what I mean? Since the NFL will pay for it,
Mm-hmm.
so I might as well take advantage of that. And just a couple of things, invest here and there. One of
Yeah.
my good friends, Oboom, you know Oboom,
Mhm.
we played at Oregon State together. He's in between teams too right now. So like we're always thinking like, man, we need to find something that we can do together to invest, to make the most out of what we made so far.
Right.
So like that's where our mindset is, and whatever that is, I'm sure it'll keep developing as the years go. So
Is that a common conversation between guys on teams of, hey, what are you doing with your money?
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing with your money? Like, what are you planning on doing post football? Are those conversations that happen a lot?
I think so. From the guys that I played with,
Yeah.
I've talked to people about that. Like, hey, like, what are you doing with your money? Like, you know, I talked to Mike about that a few times. Like, and he's like, real estate, man. Like, that's like the
Okay.
number one thing you can do, especially right now, just because you're not going to get this income forever. And
Right.
you have to realize that, and to invest is the smartest thing you can do.
Right.
So that's where I'm at, and I try to pick other players' brains on how I can do that, how I can get involved with that, and you know, it's the constant battle between like trying to make the most out of this, you know.
Yeah. What a lot of people don't, from just a fan's perspective, right? You see you guys sign these deals, you think that's more money than I can ever even imagine having. But in reality, like you said, an incredible career for you would be 9 years. How long are people actually working in their jobs, planning for retirement? You know, basically you guys are being paid in a very large amount in a very short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like, yeah, hopefully there would be a good amount of you know, what do I do after this type
Right.
mentality that goes around it.
I think a lot of it is is who you surround yourself with in the locker room, because a lot of people do and a lot of people don't talk about that kind of things.
Absolutely.
You see a lot of people get self-absorbed in the right now, and having those people around you, like Juice, like having those people in your corner to like talk about those things with, has your mind thinking a different way about things. And I'll be honest, like, I don't know about you, but I didn't really think about investing or like all that until halfway through my first year. And, you know, I could just come from the background and culture where that's not really a thing. But having people around me who, you know, go back to the story, it was my first year in the NFL. I was staying with a guy who was, you know, 6 years in, and the people came into the team meeting room one day and said, "Hey, we're about to hand out these 401k investment sheets." And yeah, I'm like, "What? You want to take my money from my paycheck to do what with it? To hold it somewhere I can't touch it for another 30 years?"
Yeah,
So
I can't touch it. So.
yeah, I'm like, hold on, like, nah, I'm good. So I'm kind of stumped. I go back home, you know, tell my roommate, I was like, "You about to do this 401k thing that the lady was talking about?" He was like, "Yeah." Like, no thought about it. And I was like, "Oh, I'm probably not going to do it." He looked at me and said, "Corn, I will kick you out of my house if you don't invest in that 401k. And I'm so thankful.
That's a good man.
Yeah, I'm so thankful that he did that. But it's like, that was like, man, like, what am I missing out on bigger picture with all this investment stuff? So, like, that kind of got my mind working in different ways and stuff. But I could have been with somebody who was like, "Nah, man,
Going to the club.
don't do that, man."
We're going out.
Yeah, we get in the club. Let's blow this check. But, you know, he was, thankfully, I was living with him and kind of explained that to me and stuff. So I think it goes back to, like, who you surround yourself with.
Absolutely. I completely 100% agree on that. You know what I mean? Like, it was even later for me. I probably didn't really think about investing until, like, my third year in the league. Because, like, you know, like we come from a background where, like, we don't.
Yeah.
My mom raised me. You know what I mean? And my dad wasn't in the picture, so, like, I didn't have a man around talking about 401ks and saving and investing. You know what I mean? So, like, for me, I'm like going in, like, I'm trying to pocket all this and keep it myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Put in my savings account for that.
Not thinking about the future.
Yeah.
And I feel like really surrounding like Mike and other great players I've been around. You know what I mean? You got to lean on these guys because they know better, especially the vets. They've been around the league, so they've seen it all. They know what to expect and what's going to happen because they've been there. They've been in your shoes. They're grinding there right there with us. You know what I mean? On and off the field.
Yep.
So just got to pick these guys' brains and figure out what's the smart move. You know what I mean? Like how can I, like I said, make the most of it.
Yeah.
And just got to keep doing that. I feel like that's one thing I didn't really pick up till like my third and fourth year in the league. So
what made you pick up on that?
Just like you realize like you have all this cash. You're like, okay, what is he doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How is he spreading his brand, his name out there? Like, okay.
Yeah. Are you from California? Where?
Yeah, from Southern California, Ontario, California.
Okay.
Just outside of probably like 45 minutes east of Los Angeles.
Wait, have you ever heard of Tehachapi, California?
No.
Yeah, not a lot of people. That's where this guy bothers
Come on, man.
from.
I wasn't even going to try.
To all the Tehachapi people listen, I'm sorry. I said I throw it out there.
Yeah, you're going to make the Tehachapi listeners mad.
California's so big, you be like, wait, what part of California is that? Oh, that must be Northern California because I ain't never heard of that.
Yeah. Well, it's a little bit north of you, but it's tiny, man.
It's fine, Bob. It's fine.
Well, I'm not even going to go into
I'm sorry, Bob. Y'all buy your coffee later.
Man, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, so you said you didn't necessarily grow up around people that were making those types of financial moves, or at least weren't talking about it and teaching the youth about it. Where do you think you can change that in terms of, or you maybe already have in terms of reaching out to people who are younger than you, obviously new guys on the team? You know, are you trying to take that role of hey guys?
I feel like that goes along into sort of what I want to do after I'm done playing because I wanted to be a probation officer as when I'm done playing. You know what I mean? Especially a youth probation officer.
Okay.
Just because a lot of those guys that are in the system, they don't have that guidance. You know what I mean? They don't have that father figure. They don't have that really just like that mentor in their life to guide them along the way where they need to go. And I feel like I can really be a good influence on these kids or these young adults, you know what I mean? And spread this knowledge to them from what I've experienced. So like that's really something that I want to do as far as like
Yeah, I didn't even know that when I asked that question. So that kind of opens up a whole new discussion. So why go into? I know you said you were it was a criminal justice major.
Yeah.
Is going through school, learning about that, is that why you're choosing go and help people in the system rather than, hey, I'm going to hold a youth camp twice a year, a youth football camp or whatever?
Yeah, I'm all for that. We've been doing that for like the last few years with Lenny.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that, but it goes so much deeper than that with these kids. You know what I mean? The system is broken. You know what I mean? And no, it doesn't take a genius to realize that. And I can take it one kid at a time. As many people I can.
Yeah, in your
influence
lifetime.
At a time in my lifetime.
Yeah,
will go a long way. I feel like, and it starts with like kids like that are being in the system in trouble.
Yeah.
Don't know like which way to turn. You know what I mean?
They've
Being with the wrong
values.
influence, the wrong friends, and you need somebody has to do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And why not me? That's the approach I'm taking.
Do you think having your daughter reinforce that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? And I want to spread that knowledge to her too, for sure, like 100%. And I will, like as she gets older, teach her about this stuff and make sure she goes in the right direction as much as possible. You know what I mean? And we all mess up. You know?
Yeah,
that's part.
Nobody's
of life.
perfect.
That's part of life. You know what I mean? But whatever I can do to make sure she goes along the right path, I will do it. And
I think one thing we have in common is, must be an old lineman thing, but like your main trade is a protector.
yeah.
So
a bunch of protectors, yeah.
We're born to protect the quarterback, and then we get married and get our wives. We want to protect them however we can. For you have a child, you want to protect your daughter. So like your life experience make you want to like protect her in that kind of way of be a probation officer and kind of just like change the culture that we have in this world. That's dope.
There's a lot of parallels there.
One thing I wanted to ask you, let's get to the Super Bowl experience. I know we talk about life a little bit, but as it pains me to sit here with this man who I lost a wager to 5 minutes before the game started, just talk about that week, those feelings, that excitement, because that's a very rare opportunity.
Yeah, it's a pinnacle.
Yeah.
Man, it was wild, like something I'll never forget. You know what I mean? It was such a special thing. For like everything gelled together at the right time, and it's so rare in the NFL. Like people get hurt, a lot of things happen in the season. And the way we gelled and bonded and grew and kept getting better as each game went, it's rare. You know what I mean? You see teams just go up and down the whole season, but we just kept climbing and climbing and climbing until we got to the Super Bowl. And I would say that the game we played against you in Minnesota, I didn't expect like we were gonna do that. You know what I mean? Like, but like once we did that, I was like, "There's no way we're losing."
Yeah.
And like it's so like even during the regular season, winning a game is so hard. There's so much that goes from week to week.
Yes, day to day.
Exactly, it like goes into preparation for winning a game. But to like when you get to the playoffs, that's even heightened even more. And,
Oh my gosh!
And being in Philly, like those fans are
Crazy.
cutthroat.
Hold on, they crazy.
Cutthroat. Like I never forget this. My first game, like being in Philly, we played the Jags, and the Jags were an okay team. You know what I mean? Like we were expecting to blow them out, and it was 7-7 going into halftime. We were getting the most boos from our own crowd. I'm like, what? Like,
You're
hold
confused,
up.
huh?
Like, I was like, time out. Like, it's 7-7 right now. And like, I'm like, yo, like, that's when I realized these fans do not play. So
Yeah.
like, when we got to the Super Bowl, they showed so much love. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the culture of that city. You know what I mean? Like, they want you to win now, and if you're not winning, like, yo, like they gonna let you know about
Yeah.
it.
So my wife, she went to the game, a couple of the wives on the team, and they were literally getting harassed in their Vikings gear on the way to the game. I'm stressing out for the game because I'm worried about the game. I wasn't suiting up, but I'm like, oh, man, they're going to be okay. I tell my buddy, I was like, hey, man, the girls are having some trouble right now. We're literally on the field, and he's, like, looking around the stadium like, where they at, like making sure they're good. But, yeah, Philly fans, they say something different out there.
But as far as the Super Bowl though, it's like it's like nothing else. You know what I mean? Like, especially winning that thing, because I feel like that might be even worse. Like going to the Super Bowl and losing, just because
Getting
like
that close.
you making it that far to lose, you be like, yo, like, what did we do all this for? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we made it, but we ain't got nothing to show for it. You know?
I guess from a fan's perspective, statistically, going against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl isn't a good sign.
Man.
So how much is that talked about in the locker room? Is it not talked about? I mean, it's got to be mentioned. Like,
Definitely.
yeah, man, this guy's been here pretty much
Every
single
year.
That's wild. I think he's been like 10 Super Bowls, something like that.
10,
He got 5 rings.
The GOAT.
50%.
And you guys didn't have Eli Manning, which meant you didn't have a quarterback that had ever beat him in a Super Bowl.
NFC East teams just
that's
know how to beat Tom Brady.
Yeah. Something brewing up there.
That was frustrating. So,
But it was tough, man, because, like, you know, going and facing Tom Brady and that whole organization, like, they don't mess up, you know what I mean? And you have to outplay them. And that's what we did, you know what I mean? Like, see, like, the Philly special and stuff. Like
yeah, that was wild.
I feel like Patriots are known for, like, running trick plays and stuff and just executing. And we out-executed them at the end of the day, you know what I mean? We put up, what is it? I think the score was...
Yeah, what was the final? I'm sure it's on your ring.
Pull them diamonds out real quick.
41-33.
41-33.
And they know for playing good defense. To
Yeah.
score 41 points on the Patriot defense, like
that was an exciting
that's
game.
rare. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So that's what it came down to. And I feel like the best part of that whole thing was the parade after. You know, just being on those floats and just
the city was just lit up.
Lit. Like anything I've ever seen before. You know what I mean? Like, as far as you can see, like, through the side alleys, just people for miles and miles and miles. I don't know. I think they said there was like 5-6 million people there. Like, crazy.
That's crazy.
Like, we brought the first one to the city. You know what I mean? And something that nobody can take away from you.
Yeah.
It's just special, man. Like, I remember like we was on the stage, man. I had to like bring a tear because, like, man, this is wild. Like,
yeah.
Like, we actually really did this, you know what I mean? Like, even if, like, I really didn't, like, play that much, you know what I mean? Like,
you're still part of the team,
exactly.
though.
Like, you know, like.
And they're grinding day in, day out.
People on, like, the practice squad that are not playing play just as much of a part as the people that are playing.
Yes.
Because you have to prepare the defense to get ready for this team week in and week out. And if we don't do that, I took that personally, you know what I mean? Like, if our defense was getting gashed, I take that personally just because, like,
you gave him bad luck
I
throughout
didn't do
the
my
week.
job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gave it bad luck, you know what I mean? And I feel like that was just the mindset the whole entire season. Like,
Yeah.
Well, that's a winning mindset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's, you know, oh, come on. Like, you're not putting it on the defense. You're putting it on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting it on yourself. One question that I think should be addressed, how much does winning a Super Bowl allow you to think, I'm okay with being done in 3 years because I have this pinnacle of honestly American sports.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
The top of the top.
that's the top of the top. You know, you've done it.
Exactly.
So do you think that has something to do with it?
Yeah, that and just getting older, you know what I mean? Like,
Things hurt a little more every year.
you got to get in that hot tub every other morning just to,
Yeah.
like, get your body going.
Just
you
to
know?
walk upstairs in meetings.
Yeah.
I feel like definitely winning is. Nah, I wouldn't even say that. You know what I mean? I love playing this game. You know, and if it's hard to do this at this level if you don't love this game. You know, and I don't think that, like, winning a Super Bowl has changed my, like, when I want to be done. Like, I feel like I've always wanted to, like, not be done by 30. Like, I don't want to be a slave to this game. You know what I mean? I don't want to have this game held over my head at the end of the day.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's so much more to life than football.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the times you kind of get lost in the system. And it's hard. People outside the game don't really understand that because when you live this game, breathe this game, it takes a lot mentally, physically, emotionally. Not all on you, but, like, now being married, that you're bringing someone else along in the system where you're busy all the time. They don't really see you. What's one thing – I think one perspective people don't understand is the spouse of an NFL player. What's one thing that you can kind of talk about from your wife Amber's perspective of the NFL?
It's tough, man. I love Amber. She's been riding it with me since before I even got into the league, and I commend her for that because this is it's just as tough on her as it is for me, because I'm going out there risking my life basically to play a sport, and right. She's right there watching me.
Yeah, holding it down to home.
Exactly, holding it down to home, taking care of Jade, and I just commend her for that for sure. And it's hard, we've been going back and forth from Portland to Philly to Minnesota to Indy, and all that travel, it takes a toll, you know what I mean? Like you said, mentally too.
Yeah.
And we can do it for so long.
Yeah.
And I really do commend the players that play till they 35. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
Like Phillip Rivers, he's basically 40. You know what
Seen
I mean?
it all.
Tom Brady, I commend those guys because it takes a lot mentally as far as physically to do it for that long.
Yeah. One thing I want to ask is, you were there for the whole Andrew Luck thing.
Oh, yeah.
And, that's somebody who has battled injuries, ups and downs of the NFL, and college too. A lot of people don't realize you in college for 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, typically.
That's a lot of people are ready to be done with football after that.
Yeah.
That's plenty.
So I'm guessing you're on the field when the retirement news broke out?
Yeah, it was. It was tough, man. I was shocked, but I get it. Andrew Luck's great dude. One of the best, smartest minds, not even a football mind, just minds in general I've been around. And you see, injuries happen, you know what I mean? And people get in this cycle of going, like he said, injury, rehab, play. And
question is it worth it?
Exactly. And that's, at the end of the day, he made the right decision for him and his family, and that's all you can do, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, only God can judge you, and you're doing what's best for you. And he felt like in his gut that's what he needed to do, and I respect him for that.
I think people also don't think about how much of an ego hit that would be to 99% of the people out there, right? You're number one overall pick. You have proven that you can play in the league, but again, injuries were pretty much consistently held him back. For him to say, you know what, I'm not going to be this guy that everybody thought I would be, but I mean, Andrew, like you said, he's one of the smartest people in the world. Period.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at valedictorian of his high school, Stanford grad, it's a guy that's going to be successful no matter what,
exactly.
and he knows that. But he also had to probably look at his ego a bit and say, I'm willing to leave this game that everybody else has always associated me with to go do something else.
Yes.
Which I think a lot of people would have just tried to keep playing.
Yeah.
Tried to keep playing.
And not
tried
been
to keep
happy.
Playing. Right. Yeah, not be happy ultimately.
And that's what he said. He was like, I'm not going to be on IR and just sit here hurt and you know what I mean? I'm not okay with that, and nothing but respect for that, man, because it takes someone, a stand-up guy, to do something like that, because he could have easily just
wrote it out
and then just keep collecting checks, you know what I mean? And for him to do that, to come to the realization there's more to life than football, and being a top guy in the league, top quarterback in the league, and just saying I'm done, takes a stand-up guy to do that, because and there's so many critics out here nowadays, and you can't
social media,
you can't live by that, and I feel like that's something that I've still trying to figure out, and with just being in the league, there's so much demand to be great that you get in this mindset or fall into this trap of thinking or trying to feel what other people or think what other people think, care about what they think, and you can't live like that. You know what I mean? It's not a healthy way to live.
Yeah. Do you ever feel and this is for both of you guys, do you guys ever feel like you owe people something? Do you feel like that there are so many eyes on you guys, and you guys have impacted so many people, inspired so many people? Do you ever feel like, hey, I've got to do this just because people expect it? Because obviously that could work in a good way or it could work in a really bad way.
Yeah. I'll say yes and no. Yes, because at the end of the day, that's what they're paying you for. You know what I mean? So like you're held to a higher standard to go out there and play at your best and
Perform.
perform. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Perform for these coaches and this GM,
Basically, this business.
This business. You know what I mean?
And do your job.
And no, just because
You're still a person.
exactly. Yeah. At the end of the day, you're still a person. Like
Not a commodity in the business.
Yeah.
Like you have to wake up just like these other people do that are not playing, you know, and that's something I'm realizing, but
You're still part of
Exactly.
you because you're
Yeah,
in the system.
exactly.
I think for me, my first couple years, I definitely thought I was like performing for somebody else, and not just a business, but just like my family, my friends, my hometown. Like that's a lot of pride I put upon myself to do, and like I for sure identified myself as a football player in college, and I would say the first, half of my career in the NFL, and then it started to get to a point where that wasn't making me happy. That was like distracting my mind. Like I was doing it for the wrong purpose. And then once I kind of unidentified myself as a football player, I am Cornelius Edison, not the football player, but the person. That's when I started to become happier with the game, happier with the process of everything. And so I kind of detached myself from playing for other people, and just I'm doing this for myself. Like I have done all the work to get here. Granted, things have swung my way. It's an odds game of making it and not making it, but I've been putting the work since 6th grade when I started this journey. I'm not giving anyone else discredit, but it took a lot for myself, and I think a lot of times people don't realize that, and so I don't think NFL players give themselves enough credit for doing that grind. Like you said earlier, people playing 15, 20 years, that's incredible. Like 4 or 5 years, that's a lot.
it's incredible too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, I think you brought up a good point there that I think is applicable to way beyond football. But what you said was me, Corn as the person and not the football player. Did you, or for both of you guys, have you guys at any points felt like if you weren't performing well or you had a bad practice, I did bad today, therefore I am bad?
Oh my God. Yes.
Absolutely.
I think for me, you say your wife held it down. My wife held it down for the last couple of years because when things weren't swinging my way, I was upset. Especially things I couldn't control. I try to go out there and ball at every practice, like Juice said.
Did it? Yeah.
I wanted that nose to feel me. The guy I was going against, I wanted me to be the toughest guy he went against that week. And that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And he's playing a real game on Sunday. I wanted to give him a better look. And the days where I feel like I didn't perform, I was upset, didn't want to talk to my wife. I was just shut down. But I kind of grew out of that. So once I had to detach myself from that performance to person aspect.
Absolutely, man. Like you said, we were in Minnesota together. You balled, bro. I still think about that camp, and I'm like, yo, how do they do this to this man? You know what I mean? And it just made me realize, yo, at the end of the day, I there's more to this than that,
Yeah.
And I was this close to hanging it up. Honestly, after I got hurt, and if it wasn't for the coach calling me up, I probably would have been done. Just because, after seeing what you went through, I was like, there's no way, I'm about to go to another team and
Fight
do something like that and fight. You know what I mean? I was sick. I was sick for you, bro. Honestly, just because you every day in practice you came out and hustled, worked, grinded, and at the end of the day, I wouldn't say it wasn't good enough, but they just overlooked you, like you said. And I was like, yo, this is not fair, And what can you do? It's a business at the end of the day, and they're gonna do what's best for them. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna do what's best for me too. You know what I mean?
So when they do that to you, how do you take that and say, hey, me as an individual, it has nothing to do with me. They're just saying no to the football player. How do you not get caught up in, and this goes, like I said, it goes across all job performance. If someone's not doing well at work and they go home and then they have to have a conversation with their spouse, how do you be consistent with who you are as somebody that's not on the field as somebody that's being told no when you associate that self as you?
It's hard, honestly. Just I feel like a lot of people don't know the story of that training camp. I'm gonna just sum it up. So I entered the camp, third string. Injuries happened the first couple of weeks. I ended up starting the first 3 games. Felt like I played at a high level, got some good reviews from my coaching. And so the 4th game, I didn't suit up. And that was pretty much the tell that, hey, you're about to be starting, because only starters didn't suit up. So I went from thinking I'm about to start to getting a phone call after that last season game, hey, can come turn your playbook in. I was so confused because I was going to pick up my apartment keys, sign our lease, like getting ready for my first NFL start.
Sick. I was out. Like, I'm still living at that, because, like I said, you did your thing. But go ahead.
And so I went in there confused, and they said, hey, it's a numbers thing, whatever. And I sit down and talk to my line coach, and he was frustrated. I look up on the board with his, game plan, and he had me starting at center for the first week. And I'm just I'm shook, feel no feeling, just what is going on? And so end up going on practice squad the rest of the year. My number never got called again. So I just sit back the whole year and just wonder, what did I do? Why was I not good enough? And then those doubts kind of came in, and
I'm not good enough.
yeah, I was like, I know I'm good enough because I've been playing against 3 starting NFL defenses in training or during preseason, played at a high level, held my own.
Defense ain't no joke either. To go against Linval every day,
yeah,
and really block him is a hard thing to do. Top centers in this league can't do that, and you held it down.
Yeah, so just dealing with that, like you said, detaching myself from the performance aspect to the person. My wife and I grew so much dealing with those things, because even then a couple of teams called to sign me on practice squad active. My agent's calling me, hey, you're about to go this place, you're about to go that place for a few weeks, and then he turned around, oh yeah, they're going to sign somebody else. No, I'm really whoa, am I what's going on? So we had to deal with a lot, but that helped me grow a lot personally. But so I think those life experiences are very valuable and helped me. If I didn't go to that, I wouldn't be this joyful and positive as I am now, because that was the worst situation.
Right.
Definitely some trials and tribulations right there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Hey, but to say that perseverance just makes us stronger at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And I feel like one thing that's because I remember when I was in Philly, I kind of went through the same thing you did. I was backup center, and our starting center got hurt, and I was supposed to start. But this dude shot up and played, and I'm just
chill out.
And I still haven't had any starts or anything like that, and you wonder man, am I not good enough? Did they have not enough faith in me to let me start this game? You know what I mean? Instead of shooting him up, letting him rest and shut him down, and let me play this game, and you go through these things in your head, and start thinking about it, and
psychological warfare.
Yeah.
So is that the kind of that mental side that you're talking about, of always being on the cusp of not really knowing, what's going to happen?
Exactly. Not even necessarily not knowing what's going to happen, but you go through this battle in your head, man, what did I do wrong? Dude, what did I do wrong? You know what I mean? And
right.
You feel like you keep saying that to yourself, and it's nothing you did. You, at the end of the day, you can control what you can control. You know what I mean? And those outside things, let them take care of themselves. You know what I mean? And let the cards fall where they may.
Right.
And it's a tough thing to do, just because that it's not right. You know what I mean? And just gotta come back to really just your faith. And that's really what it comes down to.
Absolutely. I remember I've had a couple, you brought up faith in the locker room is very important. First year, Sam Acho, I was kind of up and down, practice squad inactive, and not knowing if I would suit up 1 week. And he asked me, man, how do you deal with that? And I said, man, just my faith in God, because he has the ultimate plan. I know he's using me for a purpose. And after the whole training camp thing, me and Kirk had a conversation, and he's a very faithful man, somebody who is exemplified faith in the locker room. And he looked at me and said, "Keep the faith, man. Just know that this is all gonna work out in your favor." And those two conversations still stick with me when I think that things are looking down today or whatever. I know today has a purpose, so I want to get down to it and know that the man upstairs is a bigger plan than I can ever imagine.
Absolutely.
I think that's the first thing people forget is like, it's like, God, you knew that this was my goal. Like you obviously put this goal in my head in the first place, or else I wouldn't be going after it. But he's like, chill, like just wait, chill.
I'm setting you up for something bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Like just
something
keep
you can't
going.
see. Yeah,
just get out of bed and go do what you know you're supposed to do today. I got it. Exactly. Looking at his watch.
Yeah.
Like yes, but man, it's so easy to say, so difficult to implement sometimes because we're impatient beings ultimately, especially A-type, like we've always, guys who have maybe grown up as good athletes, played college ball, like you've seen the highest of highs. And so typically we're like, man, I feel like I could make this happen faster.
Yeah.
And God's like, chill.
Yeah.
Chill. That's tough, man. Cool. Well, Corn, you got this guy opened up to us. I mean, anything else that you want to make sure that we dive into? We're about it. Our normal. We try to keep the goods good, not drag this thing out too long. But man, thanks for taking some time out of your bye week to swing by.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
I do have
you.
one last question. We had a serious talk. I've seen a lot of talk on Instagram about, is a hot dog a sandwich? What do you think?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
100% no.
No, absolutely not. The bun's connected all the way.
It's
one bun.
It's a hot dog. It's in its own category.
So, like a hoagie roll, or is that a? I'm just curious. I don't really have an opinion. I'm just trying to figure out what you guys think.
Hoagie is sandwich.
But isn't a hoagie a
Especially
split?
being in Philly, a hoagie is a sandwich. for
Isn't
sure.
it split though? Like a hot dog bun?
It's different though, because like a hot dog
This is making me angry. I don't know why, but this.
So
this
it's
is
about to
making
get
me
heated.
angry.
So we're going to just cut this episode. Thank
Yeah.
you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, we'll see what people think about that.
We want to do like an
Or we're about to
Instagram
get texts
poll.
of like, dude, it is not a sandwich.
Yeah, guys, DM us and let us know your
Let
thoughts.
us know your opinions on this. Where can people follow you?
Really, Instagram, Juice Man. No, it's Josh Andrew.
See, how do you not know your Instagram? Bobby don't know his Instagram too.
I know I always struggle with that.
We'll drop it on the
we'll put
description.
it on we'll put it on our Instagram. We'll get it out there. But yeah, thanks again, man.
Yeah,
This was,
appreciate it, man.
this was a good
Thanks you guys
time.
for having me. It's
Yeah,
been a
of course.
pleasure.
All right, guys. Catch you later. Peace.
Peace.